welcome back to my channel. And sorry I've been gone for a little while. I've been experimenting. As you can see, the lights background has changed. I did get a couple of new backgrounds as well, so I can have variety. I don't have the room that I'm filming in right now to kind of have like a, like a table or anything like that in the background or whatever. So I kind of have to have something like this. Today, I am going to do full face using Younique makeup. Now, I'm not a representative for Younique. If you want to get some Younique products, if you think that might be something that you want to try, I will leave a link down below in the description box. I'm getting hot. I really like this cardigan. It's kind of, it's baggy and it's got little pockets. It's really cute. Yeah, so let's get started. So if you are not aware, Younique is a company where you have to buy directly from a representative. I forget the technical word for it. If you know what the word I'm looking for, comment that down below. But I did purchase quite a few products from them, as you can see, and I'm going to be putting all of that on for you guys. I have tried most of these products before, so you'll probably see some of the products have been used. I do have a couple of their brushes, things like that, so we'll go ahead and test everything out. Right now, I just have moisturizer on, nothing else. So let's start with the primer. This is their old packaging. Most of the stuff that I have from them has their old packaging on it, because once I bought everything, they swapped their packaging over. I do have some of their skincare that has a new packaging on there, but for the sake of this video, we're just gonna do the makeup stuff. This is their Glorious Face and Eye Makeup Primer. So it's this guy right here. Like I said, their packaging has changed. So this primer is clear. The consistency of it reminds me of the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. And it's very clear and silicone-y. I do think that it might be just a little too greasy. I do have a normal skin. It's just oily around my nose sometimes, but I think this is a little too oily. So if you have really dry skin, or if you have skin that's a lot older, moisturizing primers do help a lot with that. Okay, so I'm gonna let that sit on there. And I do have two of their eyeshadow palettes, number 1 and number 3. So this is what number 1 looks like. Right here. I'm not going to swatch them for you. They don't really swatch that well. However, when you build up the color, it does blend really well and it is buildable. I don't think swatches really do a good job of representing how the shadows actually work when you apply them. This is palette number 3. This is my favorite palette, mostly because of that tickled color here. It's like a mauve-y pink, so I do enjoy that. So I think we're gonna go and start with the eyes. And I also have the Splurge Cream Shadows. They're kind of like, they're just cream shadows. They're in the little glass pot. I absolutely adore these, so I'm definitely going to be using these. I do have this one. This is a newer one, and it's already kind of drying up. As you can see, there's like a lot of wiggle. Ooh! It just fell out. Yeah, there's a lot of wiggle room in there, so if you purchase these, beware, use these right away. I'm going to be using both shadow palettes just because this one I think has really good transition tones and ones that I can kind of build up and make it a little darker. And this has, I think, the shimmers that I like to use. We'll see. We'll kind of go from there. But I'm definitely going to hop between these two palettes. I'm going to start by priming my eyes me get the primer. I just realized I do have their primer for the eyes, so let me grab that real quick. Okay, so this is their primer here. So this primer does have a little bit of tint to it, as well as when it kind of dries down, it's just a little sticky. I usually like to use concealer for my primer. I think this is like the only eye primer that I own. I have been seeing a lot of beauty gurus use the MAC paint pot in soft ochre. So I've been meaning to try that out, but to be honest, I just use concealers right now. And I do have the Splurge eyeshadow. This is one of their new ones in the color Victorious, which kind of reminds me of the soft ochre paint pot. So we're gonna try that out and see how it works. I'm gonna go in with the Victorious Splurge cream eyeshadow, and I don't really have any eye brushes except for one, and this is more of a shorter outer corner brush. It says it's a crease brush, but it's very small and it has goat hair as the bristles, so I don't really use it as a crease brush because it kind of hurts when you try and put some color in the crease. So yeah, but that's the only eye brush that I own from them. So, well, no, I'm lying. I do have another one, but I have to find it. Give me 1 second. I know I have the Splurge cream. It's like a flat brush, kind of like this one, but it's a Younique brush. I know I have it somewhere. It might be in my professional makeup kit. But I did find another brush that I have from them. This is the liner / shader brush. It's like a two-ended brush here, so that's cool. Finding a whole bunch of new stuff. So let's go ahead and dive in. I'm just putting this all over the eye here and up into my brow bone as well. Also, I'm asking the community, does anyone have a suggestion? I use Nikon D53 DSLR camera to film with and take pictures with. I tried a mic. It was one of those Rode mics. It made an awful buzzing noise, and I'm kind of regretting getting another Nikon now because it doesn't really work well with other equipment but its own. And I've looked into Nikon mic, and it's kind of expensive, and it doesn't even look like it's that good of a quality. So I want to get a really good mic that will work well, but something that will work with a Nikon, like without making that buzzing noise. So if anyone has any suggestions, let me know in the comments because I'm struggling. So I got the cream shadow on both eyes now. I'm gonna go in with the color Elated from palette number 1, and I'm just going to kind of set that cream shadow in there just because I don't know how it works, like if it works well with powdered products, so I don't want it to kind of ruin the look. So I'm gonna go ahead and set everything. I'm just gonna have just a fluffy brush. It's just an Essence brush. I think it was like $1. It's eye blender brush. It's just very fluffy. Just like to use that to kind of set everything in there. So one thing I will say that these aren't very powdery, so they kind of, most of the time when I go in, I can't really, has a little bit of kick up, but not much. So that's a plus in my book. Usually when I go into any type of shadow, there's a lot of kick up, and it's really annoying because those would be the most expensive palettes. I will say these aren't really cheap. I believe, don't quote me on this, I think they're like $32. Again, if you're curious about any of these products, I'm going to have the link down below in the description. But I think they are a little too much for just a couple of colors that you get. But again, that's your decision on what you want to spend your money on. So I'm just here to give you the information and you can make your own choices. So I think I'm actually going to take the same brush and I'm going to go into, I'm going to stick with palette number 1. We're going to go into the color Chipper, which is like this chocolate brown here. And I'm just going to lightly dip my brush in there and just stick that into the crease. Definitely want to dust that off. This color is actually quite pigmented, so be careful. If you think you got too much, I just usually just do this and get some of it off on my arm. That way I know it's gonna be the right amount of product. I'm just gonna put this right above my crease. So if you have hooded eyes, usually it helps to keep your eye open so you can kind of put everything above where your crease would normally be, so that way the makeup actually shows up. So I'm just kind of looking down a little bit and I'm just placing that color right above my crease in the windshield wiper motions. So far, I mean, it's blending out really well. Like I said, I've tried these palettes before. I've just been so busy testing out different products, different brands, that I kind of forgot about these. So they've been kind of set off to the side for a while, and I really wanted to do a video just dedicated to this brand just because this is going to sound really corny, but this was literally the first brand that got me into makeup. My makeup routine was no concealer, maybe a little bit of BB cream, a little bit of moisturizer. That was like my primer, was like moisturizer, not even that much, like a little bit of moisturizer, had a little bit of BB cream, black eyeliner. I had to go to the drugstore and literally find the cheapest eyeliner and mascara that I could find because I just didn't want to spend any money on makeup. I just didn't think it was something that anybody should spend money on. And my mom actually started doing Younique and she kind of got me into makeup, and now I fell in love with makeup and I could not stop myself from buying more makeup. I went from literally trying to find a mascara for $1 to spending $30-$40 on a palette, you know. And once I got started with loving makeup so much, I just can't stop. Like, I love makeup, and this was my first brand that really got me into makeup. Like I said, I've kind of stopped using it, not because I don't necessarily like it, but because I have other stuff that I really want to try. There's new releases almost every week, it feels like, with new palettes, new products, and I feel like I'm missing out if I don't try them. So lately I've kind of had to step back and start using and going back to the products that I've already purchased, because I feel like I keep getting more products and not using any of them, and it's really frustrating. I'm frustrated with myself that I'm letting all these, because these products, they have an expiration date. They're not going to last you for your entire life. So I've kind of had to step back and, you know, realize, you know, you're not rich, you can't spend all this money on makeup that is going to expire. So I've just been kind of trying to use what I already have. I will purchase new stuff every now and then if there's good deals and things like that. But right now I'm just trying to use up what I have because it's there, and I already spent so much money on it, you know, and I don't want it to expire just because I'm trying all these new products. So I really wanted to dedicate a video to this brand. I think I've done a video with this brand before. This is not sponsored or anything. This is just me doing my thing. And again, this is the first brand that kind of got me into makeup. So just wanted to dedicate a video to it and to kind of let you guys know what's up. And again, if I don't like a product, I'm not going to tell you that I like a product just, you know, just because I want you guys to buy it or whatever it may be. I don't care. If the product sucks, I'm going to tell you that it sucks. Just because I'm doing a video with it doesn't mean that I'm getting paid or I'm getting free stuff to say that I like it. If I like it, I genuinely like it. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know and I'll definitely try and address that, but I'm not anywhere close to even 100 subscribers, so right now this is just my hobby, and I wouldn't want to spend money on something that was garbage, so I wouldn't tell you to spend money on something that sucks. So you guys are like family to me, so I wouldn't make you spend money on something, or not make you, but tell you to spend money on something that isn't worth it. So if I tell you that something is good, it will definitely be worth your money. You do have to keep in mind though, everyone has different skin tone, different skin type, preferences, so just because I like it doesn't mean you will, so keep that in mind. So if you have same preferences I do, same you know, skin, normal to oily, I just have oily T-zone, then by all means, but always kind of use that as a guideline, not necessarily, you know, just go out and buy it just because somebody tells you that it's a good product. Definitely do your research on it. Definitely make sure that it's something that you want to spend your money on. Again, makeup isn't cheap. I will try to do a lot more of drugstore videos, just because I understand that everybody has the money to spend on high-end stuff, and I 100% get it. There's plenty of brands out there that have really good products and are inexpensive, so I'll definitely try and get that out to you guys. I'm sorry I keep talking. I haven't been on here for a while, so that's just kind of how I am. I try and stay on topic, but sometimes I get carried away into other things and can't change that. Sorry, that's just how I am. I like to get into other stuff, and that's just how it is. Let me blend this out and stop talking, and I'll be right back. I pretty much blended it out as much as I could. I did take that original color Elated, and I'm using an Anastasia Beverly Hills A6 brush, and I'm just kind of trying to lighten this up because I didn't realize how dark of this side was compared to the other side, so I'm just kind of trying to blend everything out. But I think that's as good as that's gonna get. I think that chocolate color was a little too pigmented, the color chipper. Yeah. See, mattes never swatch that well. It really sucks. But yeah, that one is pretty pigmented, and I didn't realize that. I'm trying to fix my mistake right now, but that's okay. Okay, so I think we are going to go into the color Zealous right here, still palette number 1, and I'm just going to put that into the outer corner, and then we'll kind of go from there. I'm using a Luxie 249 brush right now, and that's just pretty much going to be there to kind of define the outer crease, just the outer corners. I'm not really putting much there. Just putting enough, that way I can blend it out and put a lighter color on top. That way everything kind of looks more blended. I'm going to take the concealer. This is the Mineral Touch Skin Perfecting Concealer in the color Organza. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit and I'm going to do a half cut crease with it. Alright, and I'm just going to take just a big fluffy brush, and I'm going to go back into a lighter color and just set all that concealer in place. Some people do prefer just going into the concealer while it's still pretty wet. I don't really enjoy doing that just because if you're doing a colorful look and you want a lot of payoff, that's fine. It's a little bit harder to kind of do more of a subtle look when the concealer is not set in there, and I feel like the eyeshadows tend to drag a lot. Really don't like it, but it is a good technique if you really like those really colorful, bold looks. Like I said, I just don't like the dragging of the concealer. Probably another flat brush. That's just an e.l.f. blending brush. I guess I could also use a Younique liner shader brush. This would be a good dupe for the top of this brush. Might be a little cheaper too. And I'm going to go into the color Spanky, still from palette number 1. It does translate pretty well on the brush. I'm just going to pretty much stamp that on my inner eye. Now I am going to apply Splurge Cream Shadow. It's just very light. And I'm going to put that underneath my brow bone. I'm just going to I'm going to go back to the Anastasia Beverly Hills brush, and I'm just going to kind of blend everything out just to make sure everything looks nice and even. Let's move on to the face for now. So I'm going to go in with the same concealer, and I'm just going to conceal a little bit. I do have a lighter color to highlight with their concealer. It's called Scarlet. However, I think I'm going to be using the Sculpt Trio palette instead to highlight with. So let me go ahead and jump in. And I do have their beauty sponge as well. I will say this feels rubbery. I don't know if you're gonna buy a beauty sponge, get a beauty blender. That's definitely worth your money. I don't think this is. Alright, so let me just say this beauty sponge sucks. I feel like I was just dragging the makeup around instead of blending it. And I had to apply a second layer of concealer for it to even do anything because this sponge was just eating it all. So, let's get into the foundation. You do have to shake it before you use it because it does have oils in it, so that separates from the foundation. This is in the color Organza as well. It's the same color concealer I was using. They do have a lighter shade. It's called Scarlet. I believe these go for $39. And then they do have they have two different brushes. One that's flat, and I use this one. This is the liquid foundation brush. It has a little dot on the inside, if you can see. Some people do put a little bit of concealer in that little dot so you can get more of full coverage, and I feel like that's how all those videos are done because there ain't no freaking way this thing is full coverage. Medium, 100% not full, unless you have perfect skin and but yeah. So let me go ahead and put a layer without the concealer, and then we can put a layer with, just so we can kind of test that out. But yeah, but this is by all means you can even put the foundation straight on the brush if you'd like. But yeah, you can definitely still, with one layer, you can still see freckles and everything underneath. So it kind of starts off as light coverage and then you can build it up to medium. But I feel like this brand does cater a lot towards older generation, just the way the products are made, and the owners, I believe, are older. By older, I mean like they're probably not that old, probably like in their late 40s, 50s. So I feel like a lot of these products were made for older people because I feel like I'm sure the presenters who are with Younique say they'll love this stuff. But if you generally like in your 20s, you're not gonna sit there and be like, Younique is the only makeup I use. That's not a thing. Not saying that these products are bad, but like I said, I just feel like most of these products were catered towards an older generation, and then they start coming out with like setting powders and highlighters and things like that that they've never even had before, and the brand has been around for. If you're going to have a foundation brush, it's kind of pointless to have a foundation brush when you have to use a blending sponge on top, when you can just literally go in with the blending sponge and blend it out that way. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of pointless to have two things. So if you're going to use a foundation brush, make sure that you can blend the foundation out with it instead of it just streaking everywhere, you know? So one thing that I do like about this foundation is that it actually is melting in with my skin instead of just it's sitting on top. I like when foundations kind of melt with my skin. I don't really like the foundations that I feel like it's a layer of makeup, and then if I move my face, everything will crack and no amount of setting powder will fix it. So I kind of like foundations that I can work with a little bit more. Okay, so I didn't pick up any of the setting powder from them because it's always out of stock every time I try to get it. So I'm just going to set my face really quickly. Actually, I just realized, before I do that, we're going to go in with the Sculpting Trio. And we're going to go in and contour a little bit. The one thing that I don't like about this is, first of all, this is supposed to go under your eyes. It's supposed to be like banana powder, but it has glitter in it. It's really weird. But I'm going to go in and contour, I guess. As you can see, I already hit pan on the contouring stuff there. Have used this quite a bit. Didn't really have any powder contour stuff, so then I do have their contour and highlight stick as well. I think I'm going to do that as well on top, just so I can kind of test it out as well. But I've tested this out. The contouring thing is really the only thing that I use. They do have the cream highlighter in there as well, which I'll show you here in a second. But haven't really used that all that much. So this is the Sculpting Stick Duet. It's just this guy right here. So I'm just going in with the highlight portion. And then the contour portion. I feel like the contour is not even that dark. It's gonna look like shit probably, but we'll see. So I'm just gonna take that beauty sponge and hope for the best. Because like the highlighting is just too yellow, and this is the lightest shade. Like that's too yellow and that's too light. So I usually like my contour to be a little darker. So I don't know, I'm just hoping that this doesn't look like garbage. So I will say the contour stick's actually blending out amazing. Just to kind of compare this to something, this is like the NYX highlighting and contouring stick duo thingy. But that one doesn't really blend out as easy as this one. But that also might be because this one doesn't really stick to my skin that well. I feel like it's taking some of the foundation off. I'm pretty sure some of my makeup just came off, but whatever. So I guess I'll go in with the cream highlighter. Nice thing about this is that it like gives you a little chart too, so you know where to place everything. So I'm just going to kind of dab this on my cheeks, on my nose. Just feel like this foundation, like everything they make is just so oily. It's like if you have oily skin, this is gonna be bad news for you. Okay. And I guess I'll use that banana shade right in the middle as for setting under my eyes. See if that kind of helps to brighten things up. And I do have their bronzer somewhere, but I don't like to use bronzer over top of contour. I feel like sometimes it just makes me look like an Oompa Loompa sometimes. So, but I do have their bronzer laying around somewhere. Okay, so I guess we kind of set everything in. I'm just going to I don't really like the mister on this. I also like to, once I spray a little bit of setting spray, I also like to take the beauty sponge and just kind of go over everything just to make sure that everything is nice and blended. For some reason this sponge smells like weed, and I don't even smoke weed. It smells really bad. Okay, so that's all set. I do have their blush brush and their contouring brush. I'm not going to use either of these. I do have a blush from them, but it's so hot pink, it just looks really bad on me, so I'd rather go without blush. And this contouring brush just sucks. Like this end, it's like there's a little divot inside, and I don't get it. Okay, so let's go on to, I guess we'll finish up the eyeshadow. I'm going to go back into palette number 3, and I'm going to use the color Cheeky on the lower lash line. Just want a little bit of color in there. This mascara is trash. You can definitely get better mascara at the drugstore. It's garbage. Especially, I will say, their old formula, I loved it. It literally looked like I had fake eyelashes on. This stuff is so thick, barely gets on there, and then it dries out very, very quickly, and I just don't even know what they did with it. So, gotta use Younique pencil. Like, I'm kind of like, I really like the eye look, but then I'm just disappointed in shit like that. Like, mascara should be easy, you know? So, and this is like their signature mascara. This is like the first thing they came out with was fiber mascara, and they've reformulated it a couple of times since, but this is like their signature product. Like, come on, guys. And I'm using the color medium for the brow pencil. They do have a kit for the brows as well. It's a very questionable kit. It has a pink in there. I'm not really a fan. I do like this brow pencil. I will say this is my favorite brow product. Their brow gel works really well as well. However, that does dry up fairly quickly as well. It doesn't last the amount of time that it should. I feel like because I'm so upset about this stupid mascara, like my most favorite thing to do is put on mascara because I just feel like it makes my like it just pulls the whole look off together, and when that's not working, I just feel like shit. Like I feel like I can't do makeup anymore. Like I don't know. I'm just very disappointed because I thought maybe the mascara wasn't working because it's an older tube, and opened a new one and that wasn't working, so I'm just really disappointed. Okay, so let's go in with the red lipstick and see what happens. Let me zoom you guys in a little bit. What the red looks like at least. I will say it's a cool idea. It's very pigmented. It goes on very nicely. It's just when you're trying to make sure that the dark color stays on the outside and you're trying to make sure that the lipstick is covering the whole lip, it's kind of hard to do that. But I mean, it's cute. I feel like you could just, if you have red lipstick, you can get a darker pencil and just outline it. But let me zoom you guys back out and we'll kind of collect our thoughts and go through everything, what I liked, what I didn't like, what was okay. So, yeah. This is the finished look that I came up with. I wish I was a little bit more careful with some of the colors, so that way, because once you have a lot of the dark color on there, there's really no going back. So I couldn't really, blend that out too much. So, eyeshadow palettes. I definitely like eyeshadow palettes. The brow pencil, that's a like. Concealer, I did like the concealer. The primer was okay. You can just use concealer if you want to. Other than that, didn't really like anything else. The contour stick was okay. The highlighting shade was a little too yellow for me. But, I mean, it blended out well. Felt like it was taking some of my foundation off. The Sculpting Trio palette, I like the contouring. Highlighter is okay. You can't even really tell that I used highlighter, just a little bit on the nose. Setting spray is okay. You can honestly get a little e.l.f. bottle for like $3. That's just as good. Mascara sucks, 100%. It's garbage. But yeah, the Splurge cream eyeshadows, I definitely love those. Again, buy them with caution. If you're gonna buy them, make sure you use them every day right away because they do dry out. Those I think are definitely worth your money, but they do have good, which I wasn't really using. I do have their eyeliners and their lip liners. I didn't really need to use them today just because the look that I was doing. I do love their eyeliners and their lip liners. They're very smooth and creamy. So if anything, at least check those out. But other than that, you guys are free to make your own choices. Again, these are just my thoughts. We'll leave a link down below so you can take a further look into the products. But yeah. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.